talk to you about my experience with the DockAtot. And I have 2 kids and we use the DockAtot for both of them. And so I'm going to tell you a bit first about my experience with my son, who's my oldest, and then I'll go on to tell you about how we use the DockAtot with my daughter. So I first heard about the DockAtot in many of the Facebook chat groups about baby sleep when my son was probably 3 months old, and we had, since he was born, we had a lot of issues with him sleeping. And I know it's pretty normal that babies wake in the night a lot, and you know, it's hard as a new parent to get used to not sleeping, but the situation with my son seemed really extreme to me. It was very different than what my friends and family were experiencing with their newborns. So I knew something just wasn't right. So I started reading a lot of books about baby sleep, and maybe you can relate to that, and nothing was really working. And so I was in all these chat groups and I started hearing about the DockAtot, and it had such rave reviews, and everybody was saying it was just this awesome thing. And so I decided to purchase it, and I ordered it, and I live in Canada, so it cost me $300 Canadian to get it shipped up here. And when it arrived, I was just shocked when I saw it. I felt really stupid that I had spent $300 on essentially a dog bed. That's what I thought when I first saw it. Even though I knew what it looked like before I purchased it, when I seen it in person, I felt really stupid that I thought this was going to somehow fix all our problems with my son. He was around 4 months old when we got the DockAtot, and at that point he was still waking every 90 minutes at night. He had never had a nap, independent nap, anywhere, not in a crib, not in a playpen, not in a swing, nowhere. The only place he would ever nap was on me. I couldn't sit down while he was napping. I had to be walking, so I was walking 5 to 6 hours a day with him in a carrier. I had lost a ton of weight, which maybe sounds like an awesome thing, but I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was just constantly on my feet with my son, and I was miserable. Postpartum depression for sure was a huge issue for me, and my son was miserable, which was actually really what was the main reason why I knew we had to get this sleep situation under control. He wasn't happy, he wasn't smiling. He was, growing somewhat on his growth curve, but he just wasn't happy baby. He was what you would, I guess, call colicky, which can be normal, but for him, I think it really was because of the sleep deprivation. He just was never getting any kind of proper sleep. So anyways, when I saw this DockAtot, and I was shocked, I left it in the box and I put it in the closet, and I thought, I'm not ready to be fully disappointed with this purchase yet. And so I didn't use it right away. It was about 3 days later when my son, as usual, I couldn't get him down for a nap, and I was really trying to see if I could transfer him into his crib. I would nurse him to sleep, and then I would try to put him down, and I never could put him down. I never ever could put him down. He would wake immediately. I'm sure lots of people can relate to that. It's a very frustrating experience. Anyways, so when I couldn't get him down, I thought, what the heck? I might as well just try that stupid dog bed. And I pulled it out of the closet and I put it in his crib. And I nursed him again, got him to sleep, and very slowly transferred him into it. And I just stood there and I looked at him and he didn't wake up. And it was the first time in his life that had ever happened, that I had been able to put him down and he didn't just immediately, shudder that I wasn't holding him. And I walked out of the room and I just kind of sat by his door and I waited, because I knew the tears were coming, but it was 2 hours that he slept. I was just completely blown away. I had heard these stories from other families about how the DockAtot really helped them with their kids, but I couldn't believe it. I just was so happy. I thought maybe this is just a weird coincidence, but from that point on, I kept using the DockAtot and started using it at night as well, and his sleep just improved immensely. He didn't start sleeping through the night magically, like a lot of people kind of get the impression that that's what the DockAtot's supposed to do. He didn't do that. He started waking less frequently. He started waking what I would describe as age appropriately, and I will talk about that in a whole other video about sleep training, the controversies about sleep, but age appropriate wake. So, at 5 months, he started waking 4 times a night, which prior to that, he was waking about 7 to 10 times a night. So 4 times a night was so amazing. We were getting 4 to 7 hour chunks of sleep at night, and he was able to take naps in the day. So really the best thing that came of this wasn't that I started getting sleep and started feeling a lot better. It was that my son's personality just finally exploded. He started laughing, he started smiling at us. He wasn't crying all the time. He was eating better. He started gaining weight a little bit, more consistently. He just got out of that rut that he was in from being constantly exhausted all the time. And so I was just thrilled, so thrilled to actually see that he actually finally was able to get the sleep that I knew he needed, and that, no book that I read at that point in time was able to really help me get him. So I'm going to talk about the cost. Obviously that is one of the biggest barriers for most people to getting the DockAtot, is the cost of it. Depending on what country you live in, it can be, upwards, like I said, I paid $300 in Canada to get it. That was in 2016. I know now it's 2018 and the price has changed dramatically. I believe that in the States right now to get a deluxe is $175, around that. I do wish that I would see the cost go down, because I know there's a lot of people that wish that they could have one, that have similar situations as me with my son, where he just desperately needs sleep. And the DockAtot would really make a huge difference in the baby's mental health, physical health, emotional health. But some families just really can't afford to buy one. Now, with that said, I want to say this. I hear a lot of people complaining about the price. The price is a lot. However, here's the thing. I also see people turning around and spending $1,000 on a crib, over $1,000 on fancy strollers, $300 on a crib mattress, bouncers, jumperoos, all these different things, baby carriers. And I'm a big baby wearing fan. I'm not, saying anything negative about baby wearing, but people will drop, a lot of money on all these really cool baby products, and they don't necessarily, they're not any better than maybe the cheaper versions. So if you've spent $1,000 on a crib and $300 on an organic mattress, I think spending another $150 to $200 on something that's going to help your family, help your baby get good sleep, I think it's well worth the money. And anybody who's had the DockAtot and had a similar experience as me, it's really helped their baby, would tell you that it was worth the money. And my only regret with my son and the DockAtot was that I didn't buy it earlier. I wish that I had known about it before my son was born. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about babies. I knew nothing about baby sleep. And so I would have never even heard about this product. But I wish that I had. I wish that I had it since my son was born. So fast forward a couple years later, I just had another baby. My daughter is 9 weeks old. And the second that I had a positive pregnancy test, I immediately started looking for a secondhand DockAtot, because I had already sold mine because we weren't planning to have any more kids. So I purchased our second DockAtot secondhand from a local lady, purchased it with cash, which is always nice. And my daughter's been sleeping in it since she was born. And my daughter is sleeping amazing. And I'm not going to say that it's 100% because of the DockAtot. I'm going to say that it's partially because of some of the things I learned from some of the, I'll call them mistakes I made with my son, in terms of setting up a lot of bad habits with him and encouraging him to really rely on me a lot more than he needed to for sleep. But the DockAtot has definitely made it a lot easier for my daughter to sleep. And I feel bad even telling you how well she's sleeping, because I know if you're watching this review, it's probably because you have a baby that's not sleeping. So, but maybe you're, somebody who's having your first baby, or maybe you're pregnant and you're watching this. And I will tell you, my daughter's 9 weeks old. She's sleeping, not waking even to eat. She's gaining weight. She's so happy. She's just lights up the room. She's giggling and smiling and cooing all the time. And she's been sleeping really well since she was born. We've had a couple rough nights here and there, but for the most part, she's just like total dream unicorn baby, the myth baby that people talk about that you don't think, okay, that doesn't exist. That's my daughter. And it's quite shocking considering how terrible my son was at sleeping. Anyways, so I have had both extremes, and I will just kind of add to that too. My daughter's only 9 weeks old. I'm well aware that things are probably going to change. I know all about the 4-month sleep regression. I know all about the 8-month sleep regression. I know things evolve, and babies, sleep a little better sometimes when they're newborns, and then that all goes to crap. So we'll see what happens. But for now, my daughter's been sleeping awesome. For recovery for me after giving birth, it was so nice that she was so settled. It really let me feel better. I haven't had any postpartum depression this time. I feel great. I'm happy. Babies are happy. Everyone's doing good. So for those of you wondering, we did use the DockAtot in cribs for both my son and my daughter. That's how we use them most of the time. We also put them in pack and plays. We'd take them when we went to anyone else's house. We really didn't let my son sleep in very many places, even till this day. He's 2.5 now, because we had so many sleep problems with him. But my daughter she's just been so portable. We've gone camping with her. She just sleeps in the DockAtot perfectly fine. We've had the DockAtot in bed with us. With that all said, depending on where you live, what country you're in, there's different regulations about what's considered safe sleep. In North America, the DockAtot isn't considered safe for independent sleep. With that said, neither is a car seat, neither is a swing, neither is a rock and play. There's all these other products that, we use a lot for babies to sleep in that also, they're not designed for sleep. People start using them. You have to make your own decisions for your own family. I can't tell you what's right or wrong. I can only tell you what we did. I felt very comfortable with my son. He was 5 months by the time we started using it. And I was never worried about him in there. And with my daughter, I'm still sleeping in the room with her. And so I'm right next to her while she's sleeping. It's going quite well. So here's my little girl now. She just woke up from her nap in her DockAtot. She slept about 2.5 hours. Nice and happy. So I just wanted to say too that something that people often say that they do with the DockAtot is breastfeed in it. And I wasn't able to figure that out. The sides were so high that I never could get it to work comfortably. I mean, I could do it, but it involved me up and leaning over, and it just really wasn't great. Like, maybe for some people it works. For me, it just didn't work. And other than that, I can't think of anything else that we did with the DockAtot that maybe would be interesting to anybody. I did travel with it a few times. The easiest way to travel with it, I found, was to take it apart, put it in my luggage, and pray that my luggage didn't go missing. And the only other thing too is when my son grew out of his Deluxe, I did sell it secondhand, and I almost got for it what I paid for it, which was really nice. And I made him a taller size one. So if you go online, you can actually find some patterns. If you have any kind of sewing ability, you can probably do it. You can also buy them off of Etsy, and different handmade, like local people tend to make them too. I felt a little more comfortable with making my son one once he was older. I think we transitioned him out of the Deluxe. He was probably around 10 months old. And he's still sleeping in the larger one that's basically the size of his crib. He's 2.5, he's still in a crib. He's never tried to get out, so we just keep him there. Anyways, if you want to hear more about the DockAtot, I have 2 other videos. One talks about tips and tricks, ways to use your DockAtot, clever covers and different kind of secret things that you can do with the DockAtot. And then I also have another video all about safety. And I know that's like a #1 question that people have. And so there's a whole other video about safety issues. And then there's a FAQ video that I have, and they're all linked below. I am the administrator at the Facebook DockAtot Buy and Sell. I will say that I am not affiliated with DockAtot whatsoever. They have not sponsored me to do this video. They don't pay me to run the Facebook group. It's just something that I do because I had such a great success using the DockAtot with my son. I wanted to start up a buy and sell to help other people find them secondhand because they are so expensive. It's nice if you can get one in good condition secondhand. So I am there on that page and hear from a lot of families that have a lot of success with the DockAtot. We do occasionally hear that for some babies they just hate it and it's terrible. So it's it's like any other baby product on the market. Some people it's great, some people it's not. But if you have sleep issues at all, I think it's well worth trying. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing below and liking my video, and check out our other videos all about the DockAtot as well. Thanks.